everyone, and welcome to Ask Alexa Therapy Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Such incredible responses I've been getting from viewers. I've been getting so many incredible questions. Each show, each night, I'll be answering one question every Sunday. So let me get to our first question. Dear Ask Alexa Therapy, I've been married for over 10 years, and I'm recently divorced. My ex-husband was physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive at times. But I can only remember the good times, and I feel very guilty about it. Is there something wrong with me? No, there's not. And this is very common, and sometimes we don't always speak about it. A lot of times when any relationship ends, if it's an intimate partner, if it's a friend, a worker, a loved one, we often idealize that person, and that is very normal. But that doesn't always mean that's the reality. And I think so many times people get confused because after a relationship ends, they feel, maybe they start to question themselves. They start to feel guilty. Did I make the right decision? Was I overreacting? Did I look into things too much? And I think the fact that you had said that your ex-husband was physically, emotionally, and verbally abusive to you is a huge sign and a red flag that there was nothing wrong with your decision to end the marriage. And it's completely normal to find that you idealize them and that you only think of the good times. That is a human thing. But again, that's not the reality. And let's think about it. Every time a relationship ends, we do remember the good times because there are good parts of that relationship. Of course, that person has some good parts to them, but that's not the reason why we should always stay. And I think that's so important. I'm so happy that you wrote in this question because I think it's so important for so many people to realize this, and crucial that so many times just because our heart tells us, I still love that person, I still want to be with that person, I still am attracted to that person, doesn't mean this is the person you need to be with. It doesn't mean that you should forgive or forget the abuse. Because a lot of times when there is physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, there's a lot of grooming going on, which means for many years or months, you have been groomed or been put down and been almost taught to not think great about yourself, to undermine who you are, to question yourself, to feel guilty. So the fact you were saying, yes, I feel guilty, I'm not sure if I made the right decision, I think is really important to make sure you don't overlook what those red flags were. You don't overlook what all of those emotions were. If there was physical abuse, if there was emotional abuse, verbal abuse, there's no reason why you should start feeling guilty about ending that relationship. But just because you still love that person, you still care about that person, you want the best for that person, that's incredible. But that doesn't mean you should still be with that person. I think so many times people don't realize that. And they think, well, I'm still attracted, or I still love them, or they have very incredible qualities to them. They've been there for me. Maybe I should still be with them. And also sometimes it makes it harder if the person is ill, terminal illness, physical, mental, or an addiction. A lot of times people will just stay for that. But again, as I always tell my clients, make sure there's boundaries. Make sure there are deal breakers. If there is abuse of any kind, you have every right to walk away. And I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's very hard. It's easier said than done. But just to know, unconditional love isn't being with someone no matter how much they abuse you or treat you wrong. Unconditional love is you can still love them, but you have to also love yourself enough to say enough is enough. And you are better than this. You don't need to keep taking the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, and the verbal abuse. So to this viewer that wrote in, I understand it's very confusing because you do remember the good times. Because this person was in your life for 10 years. You were married to this person. I'm not sure if you have children with this person. But this person was a very incredible person in your life. Your husband was 10 years in your life, at least that you were married to. So it is normal to still have the feelings. And I think also it takes a long time for the heart to catch up to the head. So the head can tell you, the mind can tell you, this isn't right for me, I shouldn't be here. But the heart will stay, I'm still attracted to this person. I still need to be with this person. and that is normal. But again, let's not make decisions because of what the heart is saying all the time. When we know what the reality is, that there was, as you were saying, a lot of abuse, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to end this marriage and not feel guilty about it. And I'm so, so happy that you wrote in this question, because I think so many people struggle with this. If it's a marriage, if it's a friendship, if it's an intimate relationship, if it's a family member, how do you walk away? Because this person has been so good to you or has been so part of your life for so long. It's so hard to cut off the relationship. But you have to put yourself first. You have to think about self-care. And you also have to think about who you are and also what your boundaries are. At no time is abuse okay. It should not be accepted. So I know it's very hard to have this marriage end and to walk away from them. And I know you're thinking about all of the good times and the times you've had and how great they were at times. But again, I'm just saying, it's okay for your heart to say, I'm still thinking about this, I still care about them. But that doesn't always mean this is the person you should be staying with for the rest of your life, no matter who it is. Remember, abuse is never justified. So again, thank you so much for writing this letter in and so much for your question and your bravery, because I know it wasn't easy. And this is also a question that's been on so many of my viewers' minds. And I also know in my private practice, so many of my clients. So thank you so much for bringing this question up. And please, everybody, check out my YouTube channel, Ask Alexa Therapy, and subscribe. And also my website, AskAlexaTherapy.com. And please, if you have any questions, show ideas, or topics you would love for me to cover here on Ask Alexa Therapy Facebook Live or on the Alexa Show, please send in a question to AlexaS29 at AOL or on Facebook Live right here. Hi, Ken and Nick and Vito. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Kathy, thank you. And Mary Kay, thank you so much for tuning in. And also, you can also send us an email at AskAlexaTherapy.com. Any type of questions, support, or any topics you think I need to cover, please send us in a question. And again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all your support. And always remember, set your boundaries, have your deal breakers, and don't feel guilty about the gut choices you make. Self-care is very important. Again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone have a good night, and God bless.